Before you reach $20,000, money feels loud. Every bill interrupts your thinking, every surprise expense changes your mood, and every financial decision feels urgent, even when it shouldn't. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You don't feel rich at $20,000. There's no dramatic lifestyle shift, no visible upgrade, but economically, this is the point where the rules start changing in ways most people never notice. And that's exactly why this threshold matters more than almost any raise, bonus, or side hustle milestone people obsess over. Right now, inflation is persistent. Wages lag behind costs, and debt has become normal behavior. Most financial advice tells people to aim for six figures, home ownership, or passive income. But long before any of that, there's a quieter financial line that determines whether your life is reactive or controlled. That line sits right around $20,000. Below this level, your personal economy is fragile, not because you're irresponsible, but because the math is stacked against you. When your savings or net worth is under $20,000, volatility dominates your life. A car repair isn't an inconvenience, it's a disruption. A medical bill isn't a line item, it's a threat. A missed paycheck isn't a delay, it's a countdown. At this stage, money decisions are driven by timing, not value. You're not choosing the best option, you're choosing the option that hurts the least right now. That's how high-interest debt sneaks in. That's how bad car loans happen. That's how people stay stuck even when they work hard. Then something subtle changes as you approach $20,000. You don't suddenly buy more, you don't suddenly live better. You gain something far less visible. You gain absorption capacity. A $1,000 emergency stops being catastrophic. A delayed paycheck stops being terrifying. You stop reacting instantly and start responding deliberately. This is the first time optionality enters your financial life. Optionality isn't exciting, it doesn't trend on social media, but in economics, it's one of the most powerful advantages you can have. Optionality means you can wait. Wait for a better job offer. Wait before selling an asset. Wait before taking on debt. Wait before panicking. Waiting sounds passive, but financially, waiting is expensive if you can't afford it. Here's the math most people never see. The real return on $20,000 doesn't come from interest. It comes from avoided damage, avoided late fees, avoided payday loans, avoided rushed car purchases, avoided toxic job situations, avoided financial mistakes made under pressure. Those gains are invisible. They don't feel like progress, but over years they compound harder than most investments. Now compare that to how money is usually explained. The public narrative says wealth is about assets, leverage, and returns. The private reality is that early financial stability is about shock absorption. Below $20,000, leverage works against you. Debt magnifies small mistakes. Monthly payments narrow your choices. Flexibility disappears. Above $20,000, leverage becomes optional. You can choose when to use it or choose not to. That's why this threshold is so underrated. It's the point where money stops being purely defensive and starts becoming strategic. You're still constrained, you're still not wealthy, but the system begins to respond to you differently. Banks price risk differently, employers sense stability differently, and your own thinking quietly shifts. You stop planning in days and weeks, you start planning in quarters and years. That shift has nothing to do with mindset, it has everything to do with liquidity. Zoom out further and the irony becomes obvious. Most people never build past this stage because spending grows faster than security. Raises disappear into lifestyle upgrades. Car payments arrive before emergency funds. And the system encourages this behavior because payments are predictable, cash buffers are not. Two people can earn the same income, live in the same city, pay the same bills, but the one who crosses this threshold experiences a completely different economy. Same prices, different reality. And there's one final risk people rarely talk about. If you never reach this level, financial life always feels unstable. If you reach it and then lose it, the psychological impact is even worse, because now you understand what optionality feels like. So $20,000 isn't financial freedom, it's something quieter and more important. It's the moment money stops shouting at you and starts negotiating. Which raises a question worth sitting with. If this relatively small amount changes so much, why do so many financial systems seem designed to keep people just below it?